We're back. James just thought he got struck by lightning, but it was just in the window.
We are back, everyone.
Very big storm happening
We
outside.
apologize for the abrupt noise, but there is a thunderstorm going on right outside our studio, so we apologize for any outside noise.
I believe lightning struck your eye. That's why it's kind of shut.
No, it didn't! Anyway, this is part 2 of the King's Castle, King James along with Blair Chopin, and we are basically breaking down the week of pro wrestling in WWE as we always do. Now, as I said last week, one of the biggest stories to come out of SummerSlam was the fact that at the end of the pay-per-view, Brock Lesnar delivered a shocking F5 to SmackDown Commissioner Shane McMahon. Now,
James, quick question. Do you think that was scripted?
Well,
or do you think Randy Orton's head was bleeding, so they had to do something?
Well, I think the part where Shane tried to come out there and tried to stop Brock himself, that was scripted. But Brock putting his hands on him, probably not. But
stop it.
Anyway,
that was scripted.
Anyway, last week Shane McMahon said that the issue between him and Brock Lesnar was not over. Now, fast forward to Raw this past Monday night. Stephanie McMahon, who we knew had ordered Paul Heyman to pay had ordered Brock Lesnar to pay the $500 fine, orders Paul Heyman to come to Raw in Houston and basically explain his client's actions. Well, Paul Heyman comes out there acting pompous as ever, and then he tries to patronize Stephanie McMahon by paying out the $500 fine in singles. Yep, he was paying with $1 bills, and Stephanie was giving him. I honestly thought Stephanie was going to fire him right there because she felt like she was being patronized, but that didn't happen. Instead, once again, Paul Heyman managed to work his way out of a jam by delivering a biblical reference, and Stephanie just abruptly accepted his apology and walked out of the ring. Now, to me, that is shocking in and of itself. I think Paul Heyman's a snake, no doubt about it. But I gotta ask you about what Shane said last week. Do we think that this could open the door for Shane to fight Brock at WrestleMania?
I think something like that could be possible. Obviously, Shane has proved that he's not really scared of anything in the ring.
Yeah,
he earned all of our respect.
He's a daredevil. I mean, I'll never forget WrestleMania this past year. Him diving off the top of the cage through the announce table,
saying a prayer beforehand.
Yeah,
highly dangerous. So I mean, he's the one guy in his position that I could see, getting in the ring with Lesnar. I think that will happen. I'm not sure. It sounds like a WrestleMania match to me. But, yeah, they're definitely setting it up for something like that.
Well,
and Brock Lesnar might not come back to WrestleMania anyway. So they're also setting it up for him to be suspended and then suddenly come back.
Well, if they were going to suspend him, wouldn't they have done that live on Raw this past week?
I mean, he might not be suspended, but there's this inclination that once he wrestles a big event, that he's not going to come back for a while.
Yeah, because
to no end annoys me.
It's been well documented that he's one of those prize fighter guys who only comes back for one fight every so often.
Right. But this isn't we discussed this last week, but it's not. I don't envision the WWE as a prize fighting business.
Exactly.
I think that's kind of messed up, but whatever. I mean, it's a good deal for him.
Well,
I personally want to see Randy Orton bust his head open. That'd make me happy.
I do have some news as it relates to Randy Orton, now that you mention that, because over on SmackDown, Randy Orton, as we know, was on the receiving end of the beating from Brock Lesnar, and as a result lost the match via TKO. But it sounds like he's found himself a new target in the Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt.
Interesting.
Because Bray Wyatt came out to the ring this past Tuesday on SmackDown for what he was calling a sermon, and he called Randy Orton down, and Randy Orton said that he respected him, but then Bray Wyatt had the nerve to, and I'm not joking when I say this, Bray Wyatt called himself a god, and then proceeded to challenge...
God of darkness, huh?
Yeah, he proceeded to challenge Randy Orton to a match at Backlash, and Randy Orton accepted.
Interesting.
Now, I gotta say, I have a lot of respect for Randy Orton as a competitor, but if you ask me, this is a sign that the Viper has more guts than brains. I mean, excuse my language, but why in the hell would you go from the Beast Incarnate to the Eater of Worlds in back-to-back pay-per-views? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think they were kind of going for a legacy match with him and Lesnar at SummerSlam, even though it just didn't have the result of a legacy match at all. Just had a result of a bloodbath, kind of. But I think this... Are they trying to put Bray Wyatt over, maybe? Is Orton taking more of a Cena role?
Well, let me ask you this. Don't you think they've kind of already put Bray Wyatt over? Because, let's be honest, ever since he's been in WWE, Bray Wyatt has had some seriously high-profile matches. I mean, his debut, he had a Ring of Fire match with Kane back at SummerSlam in 2013. And then the encounter he had with John Cena at WrestleMania 30, which turned into a trio of matches that was classic. And then, who could ever forget WrestleMania 31 when he took on the Undertaker in Undertaker's return to the ring after the streak was broken?
Right. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but
so
he's been put over in the same way that Kevin Owens was put over before, right?
So you think
he's had opportunities, but he's never got to be the guy.
So you're basically saying that they built him up before when he first got there, but then now he's turned into one of those mid-card guys, and he's
I think they're kind of wondering what to do with him.
He's trying to gain more exposure.
Yeah, they're wondering, is he a mid-card guy? Do the fans want to see him be a star?
Well,
they don't know what to do with Randy Orton either, obviously.
The funny thing for me is, we knew when Bray Wyatt made his debut with the Wyatt family that he was coming in as a heel.
Right.
So we ultimately thought the fans weren't gonna gravitate toward him. But week after week for the past 3 years, every time he comes out there, all you see is that array of cell phones that Bray Wyatt calls as fireflies.
Right. Well, that just kind of...
So they're gravitating to him,
right.
but...
Well, that just kind of points out to how fans these days are kind of different than traditional wrestling fans. Where before it was always root for the baby face and boo the heel. Now it's kind of like root for whoever you want to root for, whatever personality or character you're drawn to, regardless of whether they're a face or a heel. Since the Attitude Era kind of blended those both together.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know. Could you imagine Bray Wyatt being a headliner at WrestleMania? I think he has the fan support too, but I don't think I think they think he doesn't have the it factor, like the traditional it factor, like someone they see in Roman Reigns or somebody.
But let me ask you this question. I mean, we've often talked about, we've heard for years how Vince McMahon loves big guys, and that's why people like The Undertaker and Kane
Roman Reigns
and Big Show have gotten the exposure they've gotten, even though they haven't had that much championship experience.
Right.
Now, I would consider Bray Wyatt, even though he's not a champion, to be considered one of the big guys, because he's no cruiserweight. He's like a 300-pound plus juggernaut who can get it done in the ring. Don't let his size fool you. He's athletic.
Right. Yeah, I think the problem... the diehards love Bray Wyatt. The people who are going there every week, they love him. They love his character and everything. But does he have, can he move the needle as far as, merchandising? and as far as getting like a wider audience of people excited, which includes children, because that's a big part of what makes John Cena and what makes people like Roman Reigns so valuable. And I don't know if Bray Wyatt has that, and that might be part of the reason why he and guys like Kevin Owens don't make the leap, because so much of this comes down to marketability, and who's going to sell shirts in the Kmart.
I can see where that's a valid point, but
I mean, I would like if someone was putting all those shirts in front of me, I wouldn't get a Cena shirt or a Roman Reigns shirt. I'd probably get a Bray Wyatt shirt. But also, I'm older and I'm attracted to different things than children are attracted to.
Right, because let me tell you something. When I first started watching the show back in 1998, I was one of those guys who really just gravitated towards the babyface because that was what the leads were always doing on the show.
Larger than life superhero.
But now that I've gotten a little bit more experience, it's gotten a lot easier for me, along with the rest of the fans, to try to be a little more open to rooting for the occasional heel. Now, I don't choose favorites, but I do.
That's a lie.
I do enjoy certain heels. I'm not saying that everyone's a good heel, but I do enjoy certain heels.
I enjoy people, like, as you get older, you enjoy it as an art more.
Right.
So you enjoy people who are really good heels. Like, Seth Rollins is a very good heel.
Without question.
So I enjoy,
one of the best.
I enjoy watching him. Triple H, when he was a heel, was an awesome heel. At the same time, The Rock was the greatest, like, babyface, probably one of the best ever, along with Stone Cold. So you enjoy kind of how good they are at their performance. Like, you don't just blindly root for people because they're good or bad. Like, I can't bring myself to care about someone like Dolph Ziggler. Because I don't think he's, like, very good at being a babyface to, like, the level, like, the historically good ones were.
Right.
And I think Bray Wyatt, his personality, his character, makes him very good at being a heel, and that's why people are attracted to him.
But you don't think he did merchandising.
I think when you're a kid, you just, like, kind of gravitate toward... There's less gray areas.
Yeah.
It's all... You remember how you talk against the kids. He's bad. He's bad, mommy. You root for bad versus good instead of, like, the kind of intricacies of people's characters and everything. It's just, like, a different way of thinking. But at the same time, the people who are going to want to buy gear or get their parents to buy gear is children. So...
Exactly.
Those with minds who aren't fully formed. The future.
Well, we're gonna take a little time out, but when we come back, we're gonna kind of switch gears a little bit because I have a twist involving a certain Olympian that I think you might find interesting. So stay right there.
So that's got to be Kurt Angle, right?
No, it's not a wrestler.
Oh,
I can tell you that it's not a wrestler. But I'll give you more information right after this.
James, you know it's a shame? That hot girl in one of my classes who we did a whole segment on?
What?
I haven't seen her since we did that segment. Where is she? Is she dropped out of school? Come back, baby. I mean, not baby.
Are you
come
still
back.
recording?
Yeah.